got roasted in my own comments section and I definitely deserved it. I made a mistake in one of my recent videos, and as a result, the citizens of no less than 14 countries felt marginalized and offended, and I do apologize. When talking about Cold War propaganda, I use the terms Russia, Soviet Russia, and the USSR interchangeably, and it was pointed out to me several times in my comments that Russia and the USSR are two very distinct and different things. While Russia was a Soviet republic, it was one of only 14 that made up the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, and by treating it as being the entirety of the USSR, I was marginalizing and essentially deleting the other 14 countries that comprise the USSR. These 14 countries are Ukraine, Belarus, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Georgia, Azerbaijan, Lithuania, Moldavia, Latvia, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Armenia, Turkmenistan, and Estonia. That was deeply unfair of me, and I do apologize, but it speaks to one of the American historical narratives that is deeply flawed and has caused very real-world problems. This narrative is the belief in communist hegemony during the Cold War, and the further belief that all of the communist states all across the world just had strings being pulled out of the Kremlin by Soviet Russians. Now, by no means am I qualified to speak on exactly how this power ebbed and flowed, but I can speak on how this unfair belief actually affected American policy. As a matter of fact, one of the architects of Vietnam cites this mistaken belief about a centrally controlled communist government as one of the primary reasons that we went to war in Vietnam. That man was Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara, who served under both Kennedy and Johnson, and in 2003 he put out a documentary called The Fog of War, where he cites this mistaken belief of how communism was run as one of the primary reasons that we went to war in Vietnam, as well as had the difficulties we did in the Cuban Missile Crisis. Now, obviously there are many other factors, but it's important to understand how your own biases influence your own decisions. And the bottom line is, I believe words matter, my friends, and I'm very sorry for misusing them. I'll try to avoid doing so in the future.